Hey, this is Krisha Young here, and in this video, I wanted to talk to you about how human design can really help you identify those self-sabotaging behaviors. I have a whole entire written series on this on my website, turning your sabotages into your superpowers, and I thought I would do a little video to accompany it as well. So to give you a little bit more of an understanding about how this amazing tool that I use with my clients can really help you to see, where it is that you're sabotaging yourself and how you can turn this into your superpowers. Okay, so make sure you watch the entire video. So human design is an amazing tool that I love to use. It really changed my life, and I love to be able to use it with my clients in order to help them really learn who they are, to find their truer self so that they can operate from a place of true authenticity. And I know authentic is kind of an overused word, but you know what? It's true. Like when you can live in alignment and when you can live in integrity, so much changes for you. Um, you when you can get into a space of personal power, this is when a lot of things can shift for you. And how it ends up showing up is that you can, in business, you can start to become aligned with the work that you are meant to do. You can eradicate that imposter syndrome, right? In relationships, you can learn how to communicate better. You can get rid of that codependency and the need to control, or any abandonment issues. When it comes to your health, you can really start to learn how to treat your body and love your body and nourish yourself in a way that you've never been able to do with diets or any of the other BS that's out there. And when it comes to parenting as well, like really truly understanding your design allows you to be able to start to like know the difference between what is truly you and what is the crap that you and generations before you have been carrying and dragging along with you generation after generation, so that you're not putting all of that stuff on your kids, right? We don't want our kids to go forward with the drama and the problems that we went forward with. We want them to be just like really truly themselves. And in order for them to be themselves, we need to figure out who we are so that we can help nurture them into who they are. Otherwise, we are just parenting from fear, and we're parenting from this place of not who we are. So this is why I love human design as a tool, because it allows you to be able to shed all of that stuff that's not you, learn who you really are, and allow that to shine out for the world to see. And that can be a little bit scary, not gonna lie. That's why I love taking people through my coaching programs to help you navigate through all of that, so that when you are ready to shine for the world, you feel so freaking good about it that you are just like, you can't wait to get out there and be like, this is who I really am. And human design is a really amazing tool to help you kind of open up that it's great for seekers. It's great for people who are looking and wanting to learn more about themselves, because it opens up that door for you to be able to go, oh my God, I knew this about myself this whole entire time, but like I was made wrong for it or whatever. So I'm going to take you through really, really quickly a chart and show you how these saboteurs play out, and how you can turn them into your superpowers, or into your profit center. So if you're a business owner and or a salesperson, and you want to learn how to leverage being able to use these areas to attract customers and to attract clients, it's a perfect tool for that. So let us go over to the share screen. Okay. Oh, Zoom. All right. So now we are sharing screen here. I'm assuming you can see it. Zoom is a little overloaded right now, right? Okay, so this is a chart of a generator with emotional authority. And I'm just grabbing my pen here so that you can see. Emotional authority is right here. This is the emotional solar plexus. And so this is where authority is for a different video. You can go to my website, krishayoung.com, for more information on the basics of human design. So right now, don't worry about the languaging as much as the concepts that I'm going to be sharing with you here today. So this particular person has open identity and open crown. So what we're looking at here in human design are called the centers, and there are 9 centers in human design. This is a this would be like a 3rd stage of understanding and knowing when I go through human design readings with people. So the first thing I go through is their type, their strategy, and their authority, and then we go through their profile. So we need to know the not self theme, the signatures, and even their definitions. And so they need to know these things. You need to know these things first and foremost as the high level of your human design reading. And then what we do is we go into this really cool place, because this is where we find out where your sabotages are and your superpowers. So each one of these centers, there's 9 of them. I think I said that already. And they're kind of, you could think of them kind of like chakras. And if you don't know what a chakra is basically, in Hinduism, it's like an energy center in the body. So it basically like, it's like a vortex of energy. And we have chakras all over the place, but the most commonly known chakras are the ones that run up the center line of our body. And when they are out of alignment, then we can feel out of alignment, because everything is energy on this planet. Everything is energy. And the more you can start to wrap your head around that concept, the easier your life will become, I promise you. I wish I had dove straight headfirst into spiritual work when I started this personal development journey. It would have saved me years of trying to figure all this stuff out. Anyway, so because everything is energy, and we're all like kind of like attracting and detracting and operating at that sort of level, when it comes to human design, we can look at it as sort of like a layer, like you know, those transparencies, right? So there you got one layer and then you got another layer, right? So if you are familiar with the chakras, awesome, still use that. They're very, very, very important pieces of information for you to know energetically how you are being. And human design brings another layer into it for you, so that you can start to see where you as a person are impacted positively or negatively, how you're conditioned positively or negatively from your environment, from your upbringing, from the planets, from all of that. When we're looking at a body graph in this particular kind of way, what we want to look at first and foremost is anything that is white in your chart. Okay, so I just circled the 2, ignore this one right now. I circled this one and I circled this one, because these are the 2 white areas within this chart. And you'll see everything else is colored in. Those that are colored in are considered defined, and they're defined because there is what's called a channel that runs between them. So there's this number 48 to number 16 has a channel running to it, and that makes this one defined and this one defined. That's a whole other video, a whole other set of information that you don't need to know about right now, okay? So try to like calm the voice in your brain right now that's saying, but what does this mean? I don't understand what this means. I don't understand this. I don't understand this. You don't need to understand any of this. This is the stuff that gets revealed to you in a reading, okay? I would really, really recommend, if you are trying to understand your human design, get a reading. It just saves you so much time. When we're looking at your sabotages, we look at your open centers, because what happens is this is where the deepest conditioning happens. So conditioning is like when you are, you know, told one thing as a child. You know, I was talking to somebody, a client of mine today, and he was talking about how when, you know, when he was around 20, he had spent his, like, after college or whatever, he went traveling around the world. And then he ended up coming back home, and his parents were like, you better settle down. You better get a job. This is just a fantasy. You can't, you know, go on a traveling the world. It's just not part of who you are. And he was like, but I feel like this is who I am. And no, 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 you can't, you know, so that's conditioning. Okay. That is when your parents are trying to tell you something about who you are, based on their fears or based on their programming or based on their history or whatever. And meanwhile, inside you're going, but wait a minute, no, I know something different here. That's your soul talking. I know something different here. And that's conditioning. So what happens is when you have these open centers, the more open you are, the more vulnerable you are to being conditioned. And you can take on the personality traits, or you can take on the energy, or the belief systems of the people around you really, really easily inside those particular areas. So this is complex and deep, but really, really, really fascinating. So when you are able to understand that, okay, so you have open identity, what does this mean? This means this is a very complicated center to have open. I have this one open. And this basically means that honestly, you don't have a sense of your own identity. It's the most bizarre thing. It's like you maybe go through your entire life not really truly knowing who you are. And what ends up happening is you can take on the personalities, the personas of the people who you're with. I was talking to another client last week, and he was saying about how, you know, he was in sports and all this kind of stuff, and he used to take on the identity of all of his friends. He used to talk like them, act like them, just behave like them. And he knew that that wasn't him, but he couldn't help himself from doing that. And his parents were like, what are you doing? I don't even like who you are. And he's like, but I don't know who I am. And he wasn't saying that, but that, like, internally, that is what happens when you have open identity. You don't really have a true sense of who you are. And when it shows up as a sabotage, or when it shows up as your shadow, what can happen is you can be like constantly seeking for love, seeking for validation, seeking for that, you know, tell me who I am, tell me I'm worthy, tell me something about myself so I can understand myself. And I have this. And when I was younger, if somebody paid me a compliment and they said, oh, Krisha, you're so smart, or you're so this or this, so that, I would always be like, can you tell me that again? And because I didn't know this about myself, it was always sort of, it almost like felt as if I was trying to like be complimented, right? And I had like ex-boyfriends and ex-partners like accuse me of like wanting to be validated in that kind of way. And it was like, you know, you are. And I'm like, actually, honestly, I don't. And I didn't know this about myself. And so I just felt a lot of shame around wanting to hear again what people saw in me, because I could not see it for the life of me. I still can't. I know a lot more now, but I can't see my own identity. And so what can happen is you take on other people's personas, you take on other people's identities. I would watch movies and I would walk out of the movie like, I'm now this actress. It's really fascinating. And so what can happen? You sabotage yourself in that way, right? Because now you're just seeking love, direction. You're seeking for all of this external validation all of the time. Please tell me who I am. Please validate me. Please love me. And, you know, that can be really, really draining. And I don't know who I am. And that can be really, really draining. And how you can turn it into your superpower is when you are identified with that and you understand, okay, I can see that I've got this thing here. And yeah, like my whole life I was like that. Wow. Now, bam, that's awareness. And once you have awareness, now you can make changes. You can't make changes in your life until you have awareness, right? And so now when you have an awareness of, holy crap, yeah, like I'm always seeking externally because I can't see this for myself. Now you can be conscious and aware of it. You go into consciousness and you become very, very aware of this behavior. So when you see it coming up again, you know, okay, this is what's called in human design. This is my not self. This is my sabotage. This is the way in which I'm trying to figure out who I am. And what you can do now is have a very healthy and honest conversation with the person you're talking to and saying, just listen, this might not make any sense to you, but I can't see my own identity. I need you to tell me what you just told me again, because I don't see that in myself. And I would love to know how you see me. I would love to know that, because that felt really, really good for me to hear that, right? When you can have that kind of conversation, and once you surround yourself with people who like freaking adore you and love you, they will do this for you, okay? And then turning it into your superpower is whenever you have like a gate that's attached to an open center, this is your wisdom. This is how you are meant to learn about this particular thing. So for this person here, they have gate 15. This is the gate of extremes. So this person, if they used their open identity to understand the identity of other people, they can't see theirs, but they can definitely see the identity of other people. And then they can look at how is this person being in their extreme? How can I get this person into balance? Now you have, if you're a coach or something like that, or a mentor, now you can bring that in for them. How can I help this person get into balance? Number 46 is all about love of the body. So if you're a health coach, or if you're in that kind of space and you have that, you can now be like, I totally understand how to help this person embody something. I can totally understand how this person can love their body so much and stop hating on themselves and love themselves like a lot, because you can see the love in them that they can't see for themselves. This is gold, people. I'm telling you, this is gold. The other areas that people get really tripped up is in open crown, and 70% of the population have open crown, okay? So our crown is for inspiration. We are here to take in inspiring ideas. It's slightly different, slightly the same as the crown chakra. But what can happen is this is shiny objects. Squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. I mean, we are like bombarded by messages day after day, minute after minute, just like it's insane. I avoid most of it because my brain just can't handle it. Your brain can't handle it. You're just conditioning yourself to be able to handle it. But if you take a break from social media in that way, if you take a break from commercials, if you take a break from television, if you take a break from all of that stuff, Twitter, like the fast moving news, and then you go back to it, you'll be overwhelmed by it and you won't want to read it again. You won't want to go into that again because it's too much. It's too much for our brains. We're being conditioned for this, and it's a bad thing. It's a really not a healthy thing for us. So open crown, we're like shiny object. We can't focus. We can't focus. I thought I had ADD forever. And it turns out I don't. I have open crown. And once I realized that, I was like, oh, okay, I'm focusing on all these things that don't really matter. So now it's time for me to bring this in and like realize like, oh, there I go, shiny object. And there I go, squirrel. And not do that anymore because it was just too damaging for me. The other centers that I want to talk about really, really quickly here, and thank you for staying this long and being patient with me as I passionately discuss human design and how it can really change your life if you allow it to, is this one is defined in this particular design, but in a lot of people, in 7 out of 8 people, that is open. This is your will center. This is your heart. This is your will. And so, willpower is something that a lot of people struggle with, right? A lot of people. How many of you have fallen off the wagon for things because you start it and then you just can't, like, you just don't have that staying power? And what does that do to your self-esteem? What does that do to your self-worth? What does that do to you? It makes you feel like crap. And then you just beat yourself up because you're not sticking to the things. And you know it. You've been on this ridiculous cycle forever. And you're reminded of it every day by that media that I just told you to stop watching. So now you have this that's open, and you will be struggling with self-worth. You will not, in the same way that open identity can't see their identity, you can't see your own worth. You just can't. And you need that validation from that outside source, right? And you don't have the willpower in a natural kind of way like somebody who has that defined. So what I would do with you if you were my client is we would look at all the other areas in your design and all the other areas in your personality and all the other areas in who you are, and see and draw out those wonderful parts of you so that you can focus on those parts of yourself and love and heal the parts of yourself that you're not really loving right now. And what that does is it helps to create the willpower. It helps to create that self-worth, right? So human design is a tool in the toolbox that I use in order to help people like you, the seekers, the people who want to evolve and grow and be in full alignment, get there. It's an amazing, miraculous tool for that. And then we work on your self-sabotages and your shadows and all the rest of it to get into the nitty-gritty of what's going on behind the scenes. The last one I want to talk about is your emotional solar plexus, and that's this one down here. And if that's open, what happens is you will take on the emotion of other people. So you are very empathetic. You can taste test, flavor test every emotion out there. And it's really actually kind of cool. And this is a great superpower to have for marketing, because you can really, like, emotion. You know all the different flavors of joy. You know all the different flavors of sadness because you, over your lifetime, have sampled it from person after person after person after person. And the more you take in of all these other people, the more you get confused in your own self, because you're like, what's mine and what's theirs? You don't even know, right? This is how you're being conditioned. And you might be feeling really amazing one second and then be with somebody who's angry, and then all of a sudden you are angry, like angry, and you're not exactly sure why. So knowing that you have that emotional, like open emotional authority, for example, can allow you to go, that's not mine. I am my clients, when we use this analogy, be a screen, not a sponge, right? It's like, that's not mine. I was fine a second ago. I'm actually feeling really freaking happy right now. You're in a bad mood. That's not my mood. Whereas before, if you're not fully aware and you're not fully conscious of it, you can then take that on. And all of a sudden, you're just like, you might consciously think you're not taking it on, but in your body, you're taking it on. And then next thing you know, you're like, damn, I'm angry. How am I so angry? Or sad or whatever, right? So knowing this is gold. It is gold. This changes the lives of my clients when they know this stuff. And please don't get caught up in the language. Please don't get caught up in the, I don't understand this. It's you're not supposed to understand it. This is just literally a tool for you to know that there is a way to be able to see what's working for you and what's not working for you, and how to get into that full aligned space within yourself. Okay, so that is what this video is for. If you are interested in having me read your chart for you, I have a Back to You bundle that I would love to offer you. And this bundle allows you to be able to have a private session with me, and we can alchemize your gold. We can like take all of this gunk that's been put on you from the conditioning and from all of these external sources that aren't even yours, turn your sabotages into your superpower, and bring in that personal power that is within you, that is just covered in a whole bunch of mud and crap, so that you can really be your fully expressed version of yourself in this lifetime, because the world needs you. Please don't die with your music in you. Please sing it out. Let it be emerged. Let it come out. Let it be expressed. That is going to be your path to happiness. I promise you that. So all you need to do is click the button to be able to book your session with me in my calendar directly, and I will happily go through your chart with you and take you through all of the different pieces, not just this, but anything else that you need to know. And furthermore, I'm very, very practical, and I will help you to apply it into your actual life. Okay, so we'll put it into your life so that you know how to use it in business, in life, in relationships, in parenting, all that kind of stuff, so that you can really move forward in a way that feels fresh and new and supportive, rather than stressful and like, I'm trying so hard to be something that I'm not. You can't be. You can only be you, and you are amazing. I know this to be true. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.